Hi, I'm Olga Elsiat, a sugar detox coach. I make quitting sugar easier. In today's video, I want to tell you how I kept my children away from sugar when they were little, babies, toddlers, and little children. And I will tell you how things are going now when they're teenagers. I'm making a few videos about Halloween and the sugar people consume during this holiday. I believe many Americans' sugar addiction started on Halloween. Watch my previous video to learn why. I am a mother of 3 teenagers and I have always been a sugar-conscious mom. When my girls were little, I would not take them trick-or-treating, except for their grandparents' house where we would go to show off our cute costumes. I would try everything to avoid giving them candy and would give them small gifts and toys instead. Teachers would give children candy as treats and rewards. Initially, I was trying to fight the system and trying to talk to teachers about the dangers of sugar. I was trying to convince them to not give sugar to my children, which was useless because they would look at me like I was a crazy lady. For school to stop giving candy to my children, I had to write notes that my kids are allergic to food coloring and gluten, and this would scare teachers away from giving treats to my children. But that was an uphill battle. As my kids were getting older, it was getting even harder to enforce my no sugar rules. We live in a society where people just do not understand why would you want to avoid sugar. One time, during a kids' school party, I was not letting my daughter have an ice pop that was filled with food coloring and high fructose corn syrup. One of the class moms ran to me and started jokingly slapping me, saying that I should let my daughter enjoy herself. I had to explain to her that my daughter is allergic to food coloring for her to leave us alone. But I could not say to her that my daughter is allergic to sugar, or I don't want my daughter to eat sugar because she would not understand me. In her eyes, I was not letting my daughter enjoy her childhood. This story describes our society that sees sugar as a socially acceptable and a must-have to have fun. And in my opinion, limiting our children's sugar consumption will prevent them from future sugar addiction and all the diseases that come from eating too much sugar. I did some searching to find out what our authorities think is acceptable amount of sugar for our children to consume. And you have to understand that when they talk about numbers, they talk about added sugar, that sugar that was added as sugar or some kind of syrup to the foods during the processing. And they are not talking about high glycemic foods like bread, pasta, pizza, French fries that also act like sugar in the body. So we're talking about added sugars here. All authorities agree that children under 2 years old should not eat any added sugar, which is a good thing. The rest of the recommendations are for children over 2 years old. Both American Academy of Pediatrics and American Heart Association believe that children above 2 years old should not eat more than 25 grams of added sugar per day. This is 2 tablespoons or 6 teaspoons of sugar. And this is added sugar. In my opinion, it's still crazy a lot of amount of sugar. Some experts online suggest a little bit lower amounts, somewhere between 12 to 24 grams of sugar, 3 to 6 teaspoons a day. In my opinion, the numbers should be a lot smaller. I would say that not more than 10 grams of added sugar per day. Consuming too much sugar can lead to health problems even in children, including obesity, heart disease, diabetes and prediabetes, insulin resistance, and even non-alcoholic fatty liver. When you are choosing foods with added sugars, try to look at the serving size and see how much sugar is per serving, and try to go for the less than 10 grams of sugar per serving. Avoid sweetened drinks and juice drinks. You have to always read nutrition labels and know that there is sugar added to many foods that you would not even think that they have sugar in them. For example, ketchup has 4 grams of sugar in 1 tablespoon. Food industry adds sugar to everything. All sauces, all processed food, even deli meats and foods like crackers and pretzels and things, they all have added sugar to them. And that added sugar adds up really quick. Now let's talk about high glycemic foods. Foods that don't have any added sugar to them, but the ingredients in them raise our blood sugar, and these ingredients act like sugar once they're in the body. Pizza, bread, muffins, cereal, French fries, white rice. All these foods are high in glycemic index and will turn into sugar once in the body. And the problem with them is that just like in adults, with children, when people eat a lot of these foods, they end up craving sugar. It is much harder for a child who had pizza for dinner to avoid and say no to a piece of candy or ice cream or some kind of other dessert. While a child who ate a wholesome dinner with protein and vegetables and maybe a little bit of carbs, but mixed in mostly with protein and veggies, they will be less likely to crave dessert after dinner. I'm not against carbs for children. I buy my girls bread, pasta, potatoes, rice, but we limit the amount, and I make sure that my girls eat protein and veggies first before they have carbohydrates. When my girls were little, I was able to keep their sugar under control. I just wasn't buying much of it. I have 3 teenagers now. And those of you who have teenagers know that teenagers challenge every single rule you ever made for them. And this is the case with sugar in my house right now. It is very hard for me to watch how my children choose those sweetened drinks like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, sodas, candy, and other foods that I was not letting them eat freely when they were little. I just have to close my eyes and tell myself that they will come back to what I taught them originally. Let them rebel a little bit. I was discussing this topic once with other sugar detox coaches, and they all said that children, once they get over this teenage rebellion hump, they do turn around and see that their mother, who was trying to keep them away from sugar, looks good. She looks younger than other people, that people are healthier in the family because of eating less sugar. So they turn around and go back to what we taught them originally. However, I cannot just let them do everything they want. I watch them and I try to pay their attention to the things that happen to them when they eat too much sugar, when they don't feel good, when they are too wired up and cannot go to sleep, when they get acne that is caused by too much sugar. All these things, I try to pay their attention to it. I also make sure that my children eat 3 wholesome meals a day, and they eat their vegetables and proteins, and I feel like it's a lot of effort, but at the same time it's my investment into their health. On Halloween, my children go trick-or-treating and come back home with bags full of candy. I still try to buy their candy from them so they will eat less of it, but they are much better now at negotiating deals in their own favor. And of course, being a sugar detox coach, I teach my girls all the tricks that I know that help people to crave less sugar. They don't always follow them, but they know about them. In addition, 2 to 3 times a year, I give my girls a parasite cleanse that works great at reducing their sugar cravings and makes them behave more reasonably. Because those parasites make people feel moody, and when you couple that with teenage hormones, it's a bad combination. This program really helps. Every time there is a holiday with a lot of sugar, like Halloween or Christmas, or after we go on vacation where we eat a lot of sugar, I give my girls Lax Max supplement. It's a gentle detox. It's about 2 to 4 days, and it works great for the girls to reduce their sugar cravings and get rid of all that extra sugar sitting in the body. And no, it's not easy to convince teenagers to take supplements, but the results are worth the battle for me. In conclusion of my sugar and children rant, I want to say that there are many businesses out there that benefit from our children eating too much sugar, and it is our job as parents to protect them and make sure that they eat as little of it as possible. Unfortunately, you cannot be consistent at keeping your children sugar-free if you yourself are addicted to sugar. So start with yourself A great place to start is actually my free sugar detox guide. You will find the link to get it in the description of the video. You can also find the link to the calendar below, where you can schedule a private consultation with me, and I will help you to look at your history, at your sugar habits, and help you create your own sugar detox plan. I can help you stop your sugar cravings for good. After that, you can be very helpful to your children and the rest of your family and loved ones in helping them to stop their sugar cravings. Please click like to this video if you find this video helpful, and I also appreciate if you subscribe and share my channel with those who you believe need to stop sugar cravings. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.